So, welcome to the Northern Knits Podcast. We are two friends in fiber who knit, sew, crochet, fiber craft, watch too much British Bake Off on TV. We're just... may have been my life this week was all the baking shows. This is episode 191. My name is Jocelyn. My co-host is
Diana.
And we currently call two different provinces home. I call Winnipeg, Manitoba home.
And I call Waterloo, Ontario home.
So over the internet, we chatted each other about yarn. Like we didn't just do this yesterday for 4 hours. How did 4 hours go by?
I don't know, but it was nice.
It was so nice to just visit and chat with everybody. All right. So I suppose you'll let everybody know what we're going to try to cover, and I will try to not derail us too much.
Sure. Almost 200 episodes, that hasn't happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
This week we have listed to cover that we might actually not cover succinctly, as I am demonstrating right now. We've got What's in Our Cup, Cool Threads, Woolly Workings, Wool Gathering, and Literature.
That's
ramble.
Ramble. You mean you're not perfectly content to just randomly create content while you're not looking at the screen and focusing on something with your wordage? Show off that verboseness of wordages.
It is a skill to be able to knit and create engaging content at the same time, and I have not yet mastered it.
Never said my content was engaging, just that I could create it. that's
fair enough.
Other bar. All right, tonight I am drinking some Earl Grey vanilla tea from Tetley. It's in the Christmas mug, and it's the Christmas season. I use this mug all year round, so it doesn't change. It's just my largest mug. I did a touch of sugar in it because this is a black tea, and I still need a touch of sugar in my black teas.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
The little one was fairly sweet, as I recall.
Maybe? Yeah. It's the Earl Grey vanilla's got that nice vanilla sweetness to it, so it's really nice. Mostly because I, for fun, Murphy oiled my hardwood floors this weekend, in addition to my regular daily chore, and I was very excited to do so.
Is it all nice and smells good and very clean?
Oh, it smells nice and woodsy. The cat doesn't know what to do. She's very upset that I cleaned her floor. She's excited I found all her toys. So many toys under that bed. She wasn't so stoked when I did the floors and then shut the door for a while so she couldn't walk on it. Cats, I tell you. It's a good thing they're cute.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight I am drinking... I've taken up the mantle of the Good Night Blend by Twinings.
It's a good cup of tea.
It is. It's a little too late in the evening for black tea for me, since I'm an hour later.
Well, I've still got a bunch of stuff to do before I go to bed tonight, so...
Yeah, I gotta get up and be engaged in work or something in the morning.
Technically no, but I did stay up late last night doing stuff, and I have to stay up past a teenager's bedtime tonight so that I can finish wrapping advent calendar things for her.
Yes, that's coming up very soon.
I am on adult duty for a whole other reason. Hey, we're almost at the 1st of December. This is important. Mm-hmm. Advent calendars happen in December.
I'm excited. I'll have 2 yarn ones.
Yes,
I saw when I went grocery shopping last week, there was a cheese advent calendar.
Saw, as in you didn't purchase? Did somebody take your temperature? It was a cheese advent calendar. What was holding you back?
I thought very hard about it, but Chris said we didn't need it. So I didn't get it, but I might get it anyway.
What? Okay, Chris doesn't know what he's talking about. No one needs a cheese advent calendar. That is not the purpose of a cheese advent calendar. That is not the point of a cheese advent calendar. That's like looking at me and going, Jocelyn, you don't need a third yarn calendar. That's not the point. The point is you want the cheese advent calendar, and it's a perfectly respectable adult advent calendar to get. It's like getting a coffee.
Is it? It's cheese.
Yeah. Cheese is an adult thing. Do you not drink whiskey and wine at Christmas? Would that not be enjoyable to try different types of cheese and crackers? Does it not give you an excuse to buy crackers?
Whiskey, but
I have no idea what goes with whiskey.
It would go nicely with the wine. And there is a yarn store. There's a wine store just over there. I can see it out my window.
I'm just saying, it's not like I would also, by any stretch of the imagination, need a coffee advent calendar. Don't think I didn't go look and think really hard about getting one.
A lot of different kinds of coffee.
It'd be so cool. I've had tea advent calendars. There's got to be coffee ones out there. So
there must be, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, no. These are for fun. These are a treat for you. Absolutely. If you want a cheese advent calendar, you should be allowed to buy a cheese advent calendar. It's not like he won't eat the cheese with you anyway.
This is very true.
Men.
We try to call each other on ridiculous purchases, but it doesn't always work.
I'm sorry. Has he seen his collection?
As I said, it doesn't always work. Cool threads. You're wearing a thing.
Oh, I am. I'm wearing my Mallow cardigan. It is a project I made a long time ago. I don't remember the name of the designer because it's a free pattern. I think it's from not Lion Brand, Your Inspirations.
I don't
like a
remember.
Red Heart, maybe? I don't quite remember, but I'm wearing it and I made mine out of some Barocco vintage. So mine is in blue. It is a full-length sleeve. I just pushed the sleeves up because I'm sitting here under lamps. So I'm getting a little warm. A touch toasty. This is my first one. My first made cardigan. It's a drop sleeve and made in pieces. So you make each of the pieces and then you seam it together and then you do your sleeves in the round. So I really enjoyed it. I keep thinking I should make like a bamboo silk blend one or something. So I got a really nice silky summery one.
That would be lovely.
I feel like that'd be really nice to do. And I don't mind making patterns and pieces and seaming. So didn't cause me any grief. If anything, it was kind of nice because then you didn't really have the bulk of the sweater for a really long time.
Yep.
You didn't have it growing on your lap. You just had it when you were doing the sleeves. And I was like, oh, well.
She agrees wholeheartedly, sitting with a whole sweater on her lap at the moment.
That's fair. Any cool threads for you, or were you chillaxing in the house this week?
I went grocery shopping. Thrill that it is. I wore my Find Your Fade shawl. I decided that was this week's shawl.
I'm not even allowed to do that right now.
Oh, it was thrilling. We got milk and eggs and butter. It was really boring.
Well, it is what it is.
On the plus side, wool does in fact work very well in the cold wet. The wet cold, yes.
Yeah, no, that's ideal for wool, is the wet cold.
So that's nice.
Oh, sorry guys, I've got sniffles going on today. Allergies.
Woo.
We reached that time of year where all the windows are shut all the time. So now it's just is what it is till we can open up windows again in the upstairs. I open up them down here, but I'm like a cooler climate, so my sister, not so much. There's a reason why she owns the Oodie. Crazy.
So ridiculous. All right. Let's actually talk about what people are here for. What are you working on this week?
Right now? Oh wait, I got to do 2 in 1, don't I? Because you only have 2 projects. I have more than 2 projects.
So the standard. You have like 5 and I have like 2.
Cool. So while we're recording, I'm crocheting a Christmas hat, which just looks like a flat rib. Looks super hat-like, you guys.
It's a very nice rectangle.
It's going to be a really nice larger rectangle when I'm done. This is the 1.5 hour quick crochet hat. So when it is finished, I will seam it in the round so that it turns into a ribbed toque.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to do a little detail edging on the one end, which will have just the navy and this navy yellow combination on the bottom. So you've got a nice detail. This way, because it's crochet ribbing from top to bottom, the hem or the border around the ears can be as large or as small as the recipient wants it to be.
Okay.
Because I am making this as a gift knit, and I have not seen the young lady. I gotta say young lady now. She's almost 15. I've not seen the young lady since before March, like New Year's Eve. So it's been almost a whole year. So I'm not too sure how tall or big her head is right now. So this one gives me the maximum amount of playroom for her. I'm going to make it with matching a cowl or infinity scarf, so she can have a hat scarf set. And if the yarn holds out, I will make her some little mittens or fingerless mittens or something that she can have. She chose the colors yellow and black. I thought yellow and navy blue would be a better combo. And I love me a marled.
It looks black under the light anyway, so.
Yeah. Navy tends to. So I love the look of this, the marled fabric together. It's just a beautiful pattern without actually having to do anything. So that's what I'm currently doing. The pattern calls for an 8mm crochet hook. I don't know where my 8mm crochet hook is, but I know where my 7mm was, so I'm doing mine on a 7. So this is impeccable in the yellow, and then the navy blue is Burnett Premium. Just held double. Nothing fancy, it's just a quick Christmas gift, and that's because this is the eldest to one of my friends who had a baby boy this year. So their 15-year-old daughter's the eldest. So I wanted the 15 and the 13-year-old to have presents, not just the baby. So her sister will be next, and it will be a different color combination, but the same pattern. So her sister will get the colors she likes.
Nice.
It's important that everybody gets. Baby doesn't get a choice.
I don't think baby has a preference yet.
Baby's not even 6 months old. We wear what mom puts us in.
Mm-hmm.
So mom made the decision on what she wanted. And I said, fair. Till we're 2. It's just kind of how that works. All right. I have filmed a tutorial, and I have made a pot holder set and matching dishclothy. I need to get some good photos. The photos I took today didn't turn out very well, so I got to go take some more tomorrow and hopefully get one that works out better, because I'd like to get this posted, but I don't want to post the video till the photos are in the pattern so I can release the pattern and release the tutorial at the same time. Welcome to the background of pattern design. You guys all wanted to know this, right? So this is my double thick extra large. I have a men's medium hand, as I show you by displaying a open wide hand on top of my Christmas colored cotton hot pad. I initially started making these really big dudes for my mom and my sister because we're all visually impaired, and my mom was getting tired of burning her hands when she was taking stuff out of the microwave, because the hot pots you buy in the store are smaller and thinner. So I made this one super thick because my sister and I both like to eat on the couch, and this is thick enough that when you pull something extra hot out of the microwave, even if it's a full plate, not that I can put my plates in the microwave because I use China every day, you can put it between you and your plate in your lap, and you don't get enough heat transfer to be overly warm.
Nice.
So I have 2, and then I decided it needed a matching dishcloth, so I made a matching dishcloth.
Cute.
Not fancy patterns. That's why they're going to be available for free. They just literally use Burnett handcrafter cotton, because I love me a good workhorse sturdy cotton. And as you can tell from the size of the big ball I still have left, I've got at least 2 more hot pads, if not possibly a second dishcloth in here as well too. So I'm probably going to finish working those up this week. So just depends on how long it takes for me to get good photos. I was really mad when I realized none of the photos turned out. I was just grumbly. I was grumbly. I gotta go out tomorrow and try again. Try a different time of day, see if the light's better. All right, that's my first 2. I have 2 more.
I also have 2 things.
So there we go. That's because I counted the... Made no sense to talk about the hot pads and not the dishcloth at the same time.
Fair enough. I have, let's see if I can actually hold up this monstrosity. I have started the shawl collar on the Comfort Fade cardigan. It is, I am on row 47 of 102 on this.
Go you.
This monstrosity of a shawl collar. It's huge.
It's a big shawl collar.
I was so concerned that this sweater was like not gonna close in the front, like anywhere close.
Nope, you'll be fine.
Nope. The shawl collar is massive. So yeah, that's happening.
Yep.
I finished color A, and I am about to join color C to fade into that. So yeah, that's just trucking right along, and I might actually finish this thing in a reasonable time. Even though I was supposed to finish it by what, the end of September? For the
That's okay.
Patreon knit along?
So was I. I was ripping my sweater at the end of September.
Okay, you actually knit a whole sweater though. You finished it. You ripped it because you didn't like it. That's different.
Ripped it because it was too big.
So, I cannot try it on right now because I do not have a cord that is really long enough and everything's just kind of jammed up. But I can slide back so you can kind of see the whole sweater.
I think it's coming along great. And you're almost, you said row 40 something of 140?
Row 47 of 102.
So you're almost halfway done.
Just about. I'm darn close.
You are making great progress.
So that is the Comfort Fade Cardi by Andrea Mowry. She said with great confidence. And the yarn is a kit that I got from Sew Into Knitting. It starts in gray and it goes into purple, purple and white, and then just lots of purple.
Lots of purple.
Lots of purple. It's very purple. It's going to be very cute. And one of the brighter things in my closet, actually, and I'm thinking about it.
Excellent.
Everything wound up being shades of like black, gray, dark red, kind of the dark neutrals.
Your closet's a goth kid.
Yeah. It is a bit. So here's some color. I'm inserting some color.
Color, good.
In the form of sweaters.
Variety is the spice of life.
Yep. It's important to have color sometimes.
Oh,
for those days where you don't feel like dressing in all black by accident.
You know, sometimes it's nice to get up and you're like maybe not in the best mood, but then you have your favorite color or a dress that makes you cheerful and you just put it on and it helps your mood. Totally works.
Totally does.
Totally works.
So I'm about to get into color C right now. It's nice and soft.
Here's the Sew Into Knitting bag you bought me.
Yeah.
With my new Simple Hug, just sitting in here. I had no time to work on it this week. Just sat there in the corner of the desk with my cat chewing on the cords because that's what she does.
Cords.
Cords. Well, the shoebox on the floor that I sent you the picture of it was living, standing up, closed. And what she's taken to doing all week is hitting it against the dresser till it attacks her. And then she gets offended and tries to flip it back up, which she can't do. So I spent hours listening to this poor cardboard shoebox travel around my floor, sat on, chewed on, played with. I got annoyed finally. I've been home for weeks, guys. Like this shoebox came home with me because I want to use it for storing little things because it's great for sorting small stuff. And then you can keep little bits and bobs all squared away in a one box. When you open up that one box, it's all divided nicely. I'm a bit of an organization freak. All divided up nicely and you can label the box. It tucks away. It's perfect, right? Yeah. So I brought the shoebox home. My mom only looked at me funny for half a second until she realized what I was doing. I put it up out of the way. I've been home since early November. Couldn't take it anymore. She's just killing me. It had to stop. The insanity had to stop. All right. I absolutely added an extra stitch that I did not need. Let's take that out. Because I'm chatting.
Stitches.
It's crochet, which is the beauty of crochet. So I can drop a stitch and pick it up later. It's so nice.
Crochet is friendly like that.
Trust me. I'm going to talk about my flat white. So I participate in some Facebook groups. I didn't change my chairs this week, guys. It's my noise making computer chair. And one of the groups that I'm in is the Fiber Friends Friday Night Knit In. It's a lot of words. It's a really lovely group of knitters. I've been in crocheters and stuff. I've been in the group for a while because I watched the Fiber Friends when they were recording together. I mean, obviously they've been recording separately because, like, dude, pandemic. So that's neither here nor there. But I signed up last year for the Christmas card exchange, and then I signed up this year for the Christmas card and mini exchange. And you're supposed to put a Christmas card, a mini of fingering weight yarn, stock yarn specifically. And like an extra or two if you want to put an extra or two, and mail it to the next person below your name on the list. Obviously, the person at the bottom of the list goes to the top, right?
Mm-hmm.
Easy. The lady who sent me my Christmas card in minis, sent 2 minis. And I went a little overboard. Like, I put extras in my kit, which I can't talk about because my recipient hasn't gotten it yet. I got a Christmas card. I got my minis. She found corn-free gummy candies.
Oh, wow.
Corn-free gummy candies. What?
That's
and
magical.
they had the little blue fishies.
Oh, cute.
And I missed the blue fishies. I used to eat them as a kid. Made me sick as a dog, but I ate them anyway. But now I ate them and they didn't make me sick. Super excited. Also, they're called sweet treats or sweet snacks. I will make sure Diana can put a link down below for you guys because they're made with monk fruit. So there's like 3 grams of sugar per serving of these candies, and they consider a serving size the bag.
Oh, wow.
This is adult snacking candy. It's not like only eat 12. They're like, no. A portion size is the bag. You eat the bag, you're done a portion. Well, I can get behind that.
Nice. That is.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know. I'll make sure Diana's got the link because I don't quite remember. I've got the bag saved. I ate both of them already. But she also put in a project bag.
Oh, cute.
So I have this cute little Pepsi project bag.
That's
which
fun.
I'm showing you guys now because I put a project in it. Come on, it's a project bag. Duh. It's got this clear plasticky front piece for people who use written patterns they can put in here.
Oh, fun.
I don't, so I put other stuff in the front, but that's really cool. And I appreciate people who sew these things. But what I did shove in here, because what fits in here, plus the yarn I need left to use for it, is my flat white. It's insane. I talked about her Find Her Fade, which was her knit that was not finished on time. I'll talk about mine that's not finished on time. I remade it in a smaller size. You guys, I don't have sleeves. It's just
okay, I was really worried you were going to hold up a finished sweater there because this is the race
my God.
between this whole sweater and my shawl collar.
It is. It really is. No, I would not have slept all week if that was the case. I had work to do. I don't know if you know this about me. I don't have a 9-to-5 job like you do, but I do work.
What is work? It's just knitting time all the time.
I was determined. As I was working down the body, I was like, if this thing does not fit or it is too tight in the chest and I have to do more math to make it work for my body, I was putting it in the mail for you. I don't care how long it sits in Mississauga in that damn distribution center. Hate that distribution center so much.
Everything just sits there for a week. It's fine. It's normal. It's what it does.
I was going to put it in the mail for you and go, can you please pick up my stitches underneath my... I'm not doing it again. I'm not reworking this collar if I don't have to. So I worked on it and 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 I worked on it. Hey, look, I've done a hem.
Hey. Okay, so I have half a shawl collar and you have 2 sleeves.
That would be correct.
Cool. I must knit more. Knit faster. Knit.
For the record, I have a 20-inch length arm and I need 21 inches per arm per sleeve. I am also not as slender as you are. I do have a larger frame, which means my sleeves aren't as skinny as yours. Otherwise, my arms won't go in. So I still have a lot of knitting to do, but we are off and I put us on and we fit beautifully. We're -3 inches of ease around the chest and we float with an inch positive ease everywhere else, which means we finally worked out the math. So I know what math I need to use on all of my sweaters from now on to get them to fit right the first time. So I am stoked. I am so happy. And when I put it on, this tacked down collar, which I thought would be too tight, works fine.
Nice.
So I'm so excited. I might just hand hem down my collars. Like, I'm not going to leave this super crappy hand hem job. It looks awful. But I might just hand hem down my collars instead of sewing them on the machine. So this is the flat white. She's not washed. She's not blocked. I literally finished the hem very late last night and then went to bed. Like 3 a.m. last night and went to bed. Because this is a race. And Diana was making progress on that shawl collar. And I started getting really worried during the Patreon knit-in that I needed to finish. So I have 2 inches of bottom hem work, which is going to be really hard to see because it's a really dark blue. It's like a blue-green. It's like a winter green. So what I need to do is the same thing on the bottom as I did on the top, because the pattern, I don't remember who the flat white's by.
Casapinka, I think.
I want to say Casapinka. It's only supposed to be like an inch hem. But again, because I did the top neck piece doubled and I folded the ribbing over to get that nice sort of thick weight to it, I'm going to do the same on the bottom here and the same on my cuffs, because matching for a visually appealing sweater.
Mm-hmm.
So the added bonus to that is because I'm tucking this cast off edge in. I mean, I did my usual extra stretchy bind off cast on, which is like, hello, we've got some give going there. I'm not worried about it being too tight because I've already put it on and I know it's not. I will do the same thing when I re-tack down the hem at the neckline. I'll tack down the hem at the bottom too. That's just sitting down and hand sewing for a while, so that's fine. So I have 2 incredibly long sleeves to go. I have now taken the one sleeve off the spare needles, because if I had to pick up sleeves, you would win. It's because it takes me so long to pick up stitches. So I got one sleeve on my 5mm ready to go. And I have one sleeve on a pair of 4mm using the super fancy elastic band technique to keep the needles closed. So the stitches don't fall off. And now I'm going to turn this this color work turned out great.
Yeah, like I want one now.
Oh, it's so pretty. So I'm going to turn this bad boy inside out and I'm going to get going on a sleeve because Diana's only got like 50 some odd rows of shawl color left. I got to get moving. But that does mean we ended up 3 sizes smaller than I thought I was going to be on pullovers. Because again, I did my chest measurement and then I went up a size because my torso and limbs are quite long. So I have a metric ton of leftover yarn.
I mean, that's the problem that you want to have.
I did that on the assumption that I would really, 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 really rather have extra yarn, because if I liked colorwork sweaters, having a ball or 2 extra in a color is just darn handy. Yep. So I have extra white, which apparently is called cream or cloud. It's called cloud. I've been calling it winter white. Apparently Knit Picks calls this wool of the Andes cloud. And I have many balls, like 1, 2, 3. Hang on, I got some spare balls. I'm gonna color 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 balls. I have 8 balls of the blue left. They're 50 grams a piece. So that's like a
whole other sweater.
I think I'm going to upsize and do a gauge swatch for the Soldotna crop that I've wanted to make, which is a very colorwork heavy one. And I'm going to use my leftover wool of the Andes because I had my harvest cardigan. I had balls of that I never used. And because I'm also going down 3 sizes, I'm not going to be using all the yarn I used because I'm going down so many sizes. So I know I'm going to have leftovers of that. So I'm going to use this winter blue and this beautiful burgundy red and this beautiful cloud cream white to make up the core of my Soldotna crop. And I'm going to pair it with another solid that I have in my stash in the worsted weight. And I'm going to make that. It might be my Christmas cast on for myself. So I've started collecting all of that yarn and I put it in the swag bag. Hey. Shameless plug. So I was working on the math for that last night and talking to my brother-in-law because he was showing me off his fancy watch that he got. So I was doing that when I realized that was. But the body is done. So we'll see who's got full sweaters next week. Oh, yeah, so much knitting.
I make no promises about ends woven in. There are a lot of ends on this one.
When do I weave in ends? I'm sorry, have you met me?
This is true.
There was no end. Right? The one I'm wearing right now doesn't have all the ends woven in.
Okay, cool.
No. That was not a part of this bet. This bet was, could I get a sweater done in the time it takes you to knit a shawl collar? Not could I get a sweater woven in ends by the time you're done a shawl collar.
So done does not mean totally 100% absolutely everything is finished.
No, okay. It's not a finished. It's just off the needles done.
Okay.
Because then we gotta wash it and block it and weave in the ends, and that could take both of us several days because I have a schedule, you have a schedule. Sometimes things don't align, and right now I'm crafting like a mad fiend for Christmas presents. So totally other things going on in our lives right now. So that's my flat white, which I'm actually just going to flip inside out right now because it's going to be inside out for me to do the sleeves. So excited that I don't have to knit this flippin' body anymore, which is how I made it through all 3 seasons of the Great Canadian Bake Show, plus a show called Final Table. That was actually quite fun to watch. That was master chefs competing, or sorry, like Michelin star chefs and stuff, restaurant owners and that, competing to sit at the final table with like the most famous of famous chefs right now. And they traveled around the world. So they went to different countries and cooked different dishes. It was so cool. Very American. Lots of dramatic lighting and pregnant pauses and drama. But I enjoyed watching it because the chefs were really nice to each other. They were really nice to their partners. And they plated some really freaking gorgeous food. I'm like, man, I would never eat that, but it looks amazing. I can't eat corn. I wasn't going to eat the taco.
Fair.
It's not going to happen. I've never had sea urchin. I wanted to try sea urchin before I saw them plate it. So that my life has been baking shows. I've discovered I can knit like crazy and watch them, and it's fine. Downside is it's really inspiring me to bake things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, never had the urge to make my own crackers before.
Making crackers is fun. I did that once a long time ago. It's a heck of a lot of work.
Yeah.
But they're really good.
I can't ever buy the store-bought Herbie ones because they always put corn in them. But if I make the fancy Herbie ones at home, I can eat them.
Could be worth it.
So for me, it could be worth it. So there you go. And then me and Dad to show off the back side of the project bag because it fits the whole sweater plus 4 other balls of yarn in here.
Oh, wow. That is a bag.
It's a serious project bag. I'm like, oh wow. My God, what did she send me? I was over the moon about the candy. This is just killer over the top. So cool. Best pre-Christmas present ever. And that includes my mother telling me I would get to go shopping for yarn for myself from her. So, which I'm doing this week, apparently. I was told. Did I know what I wanted to buy? I'm like, nope. She's like, figure it out. I'm sending money this week. Oh, crap. Okay. All right, I still have one thing. Do you got a thing to go?
I have a thing. So last week I talked about how I charted some patterns for some Harry Potter house mittens for some kids.
Yep, you got some helpful hints.
Yep. I'm aware that knitting grid graph paper is different from regular graph paper in that knitting stitches are a little bit wider than they are tall. I am aware of this fact. I took most of the elements, like cobbled them together from other knitting patterns, and I just used the graph paper that I had. So I'm reasonably confident that it's all going to work out because I took it from other things that were properly graphed with the proper sized squares. They're just not properly sized on my drawing.
Aren't the knitting graph papers perfectly square?
No, they're rectangles.
Slightly rectangular? Okay.
Yeah. So, and I had regular square graph paper, so it's close enough. I did not have the patience to figure out how to do it in Excel, and I tried an online tool, except then I accidentally hit the refresh button and lost all my work. And so I'm just like, no, you know what? Paper Paper's fine.
Mm-hmm,
I like paper.
mm-hmm.
Paper's good. It'll be fine.
I know, as soon as I can afford it, I'm going to buy that program that charts things for me. That's going to save me so much work.
Yeah. So I have begun the cuff of a mitten.
Woohoo! It's a tiny mitten. I mean, it's for a little human.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the ridiculous thing. It fits me just fine. I'm making them so that they fit just very slightly snug on me, and they should fit an 8-year-old boy just fine.
Insert obvious comment about the size of your wrist here.
I have itty bitty, teeny tiny little wrists, and I know it. I have fairly small hands too. It's fine.
My brother-in-law makes my wrist look dainty. He needs a 50mm sized watch on his wrist. And since you have a husband who orders watches, you know how big that is.
Yeah, he keeps trying to buy me watches because, you know, I like clicky things too. And I keep looking at them like, that would be larger than my wrist. Now it's still larger than my, I know it's less than 40mm. It's still too large for my wrist. 35 might be okay.
See, I need a 40-45. Otherwise it gets lost in my wrist because I'm 5'10". My wrist should be proportionate to the size of me. They're gonna look so cute. I mean, I'm gonna reserve judgment on how cute they are until they're done because, again, you've cobbled together a couple patterns for this. But you're coming along nicely.
I am confident that the cuff looks very nice. I will keep the cuff arrangement.
I agree. I believe the cuffs look great.
And I have done my 1 row plain after the cuff. And so the very next row is going to be starting in on the chart, and that's going to be very interesting. We're going to find out if I can do color work charts. La 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 la. I'm very pleased with my stripes though, because you know when you do stripes with purl stitches, they kind of overlap and you get like the little 2-color effect.
Mm-hmm.
I did 2 rounds of my black stripes. So that the first round I just knit plain, and then the second round I did in the 2x2 ribbing. And it makes for perfectly clean stripes across ribbing, and you can't even tell that one of the rounds is not ribbing.
Oh, good.
So I'm very pleased with that little experiment. So yeah, it's a cuff. It's not that interesting. But it's going to become rapidly more interesting as I try to do a chart, which is, I'm realizing, absolutely massive compared to any other chart that I have ever worked off, because it's 2 sheets of freaking, no, I guess it's like 4 sheets of graph paper, because it's the back of the mitten plus the front of the mitten. So I'm like trying to work with 4 full sheets of graph paper here.
No, thank you.
Yeah, it's gonna be, I might try to do something snazzy with taking pictures and putting them into Knit Companion so I can do the nice highlighty thing.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's a good call.
We'll see how that goes. Yeah,
that's some grief.
That's my other thing. I suppose I could. So I'm also doing Ravenclaw mittens. So I've got my yellow and black for the Hufflepuff, but then I've got my blue and silver for Ravenclaw.
Nice.
I had forgotten that originally in the books, Ravenclaw was blue and bronze, but they changed it to silver for the movie.
They did.
I did not remember that. And I'm going with silver because that is now how most of the stuff is done. And that's probably what the kid is expecting. And also, I think silver just looks better with blue than bronze does. I don't know.
Depends on the shade of bronze. Depends on the shade of bronze. Otherwise, I'm with you.
I was also, I could say what yarn this is. I'm using Wool-like from Loops and Threads. It is, my choices were limited for what was immediately available to me because I realized I had to get these things done like now. So I scoured the Michaels website because there's a Michaels not too far from here. And this was the only kind of yarn that had the range of colors that I needed.
That'll do it.
And they still didn't have the yellow in stock in the Waterloo Michaels, the Kitchener Michaels. I had to drive to the Cambridge Michaels. I went on a half-hour road trip to get 4 balls of yarn.
Yeah. You're from a small town. That seems normal to you.
Yeah, it's pretty.
If we're honest,
kind of a non-issue.
In a big town, it takes half an hour to get to a Michael's in the city from where I live.
It's just so much farther than the 10 minutes driving that the Michael's here is.
Yep.
Sad. But yeah. So I got the yellow that I needed. They just straight up don't have a color that would have looked good for the bronze. I'd be trying to use the yellow, and I don't think that's the right shade. So
no. I think silver was the right call, and the bronze blue combo is tricky.
Yeah, so blue and silver it is. I'm also not super happy with this particular shade of blue. I wanted something that was a little more royally blue, but the other blue options that this line had were not the right shades of blue. They were way too bright and light and sky colored, so navy was close enough. And you know what? She is 6 in January. I don't think she's going to care that much.
Not enough for it to be concerned.
No.
All right, I suppose that leaves me again, doesn't it?
Yeah, that is everything for me. That is all of the things that I have worked on.
What I have here is a tiny swatch.
Tiny swatch?
Tiny swatch, because I needed to know my gauge to do some mathing. So this really super pretty blueberry color. Apparently I'm on a blue kick.
Apparently.
Don't know when that happened. I swatched for the Gabriel Sweater. Did I pronounce that right? I don't remember who it's by.
Oh, I didn't write that part down. Oh, they had that really interesting name that we weren't sure how to pronounce.
Yeah. Because of course they did.
Renate Bruno? You know what? I'm going to look it up. You talk.
So what I have signed on to do is we received the offer to see if we would like to review some Kramer yarns again. And I said, heck yeah. I super enjoyed the cotton acrylic last time. I asked Anna if she wanted it. She said, nope, it was good. So I was like, yep, I will absolutely review your wool yarn. So they sent me some blueberry in their bulky. So it's 100% domestic wool. This is from America. I think it goes from sheep through everything in America. I know it's spun in Pennsylvania, but this is their, 5 bulky, and it's about 110 yards, 120 yards per ball. It's a really good yardage per ball, which I enjoyed when I did the last time I knit Kramer yarn. I really liked their yardage per ball, and this wool is really quite nice. So I was looking through things once they showed up here, and I have to have this done and reviewed by December. So I look forward to seeing this a lot, guys. Thankfully, it's a bulky, so it shouldn't take me long. And I ran across the Gabriel Sweater, which is a super fitted bulky weight sweater, which I really liked, because it was quite different. So I like this fabric. Oh, good.
I found the name of the designer. I'm guessing Renate de Bruin. Cool. I'm probably saying that wrong. That is a huge guess.
That's fine. My gauge is 1 stitch too big, which is perfect because the pattern only goes to a finished bust size of like 48. So like not super size inclusive in either direction. It's a very limited pattern that way, but I can make it fit and work for me with a very minimal amount of math. And considering I have to do any math whatsoever, I just have to commit to the fact that I have to do the math. So it's fine. So I'm going to take my math and plug my numbers tonight and then cast on, because the finished review episode where we talk about how I like this yarn or did like this yarn and how it knit up and how it looks at a completed project is due next month, because mail. So Diana can tell you, I signed up to do this in October, and it got to me this week.
Oof.
And it was pretty early October. Like, that's how bad the mail is right now. So I'm excited to deal with this. So that's going on. So you guys will see this a lot. And then when I'm finished, I should have a elbow length sleeve, bulky weight blueberry cardigan. Now, this I could legit knit in a week if that was the only thing I was working on. A 5 bulky on an 8mm needle.
Yeah, that'll go real fast.
Like, this will go real fast. Is it going to happen this week? No, I have sleeves to knit. I want to win, and Diana has a very good shot at beating me. So sleeves first.
Row 48.
Just doesn't make me feel any better. I feel anxious about not sleeve knitting right now. It's so much knitting to do. So thankfully it's washed, it's blocked. I like this fabric. I still have a fair bit of stretch left in it. So I'm going to do it up so that I have the amount of negative ease you're supposed to have for the finished size. And then I'll probably go down and I'll do it so that like you're supposed to have like 3 or 4 inches of negative ease around your chest. Like it's a fitted sweater. There are girls, there is waistlines, the whole kit and caboodle. And I super love it because I'm not, if you guys notice, I always downsize the oversized sweaters. They don't look as good on me. A fitted sweater looks better on me. Even the flat white is a semi-fit sweater, so it looks fine, but I can't really get any baggier than the semi-fit sweaters, or it looks off. So this is fitted. So I really want to make sure I get this one very, very precise, because if I like it, it may become my go-to sweater when I want to have a bulky sweater. But I could do like a bulky acrylic. I could do a bulky cotton. Like there's other fabric brands, like lines I could play with. I could do marl, like gives me options. But if I've got the math down, then I know how it's going to work. So, and I really like the shoulder construction for it, which is different for me. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I can at least get my ribbing and my yoke done. But as I was showing Dinah before we started recording, because my screen's inverted and it's black with yellow print, I lose things.
Yes, there is some very helpful charts there. They're just grids. There's nothing in the squares.
There's nothing in the squares. So sometimes I have to look back to see the charts and stuff. And sometimes it really messes with things. So I have to do some corrections on my accessibility. I literally have to make my computer less accessible to read some patterns. Irritates the snot out of me. There is not a thing I can do about it. It's just how PDFs work. It's just how formatting and accessibilities on computers work. And it just sucks. Just that across the board, the best thing we can say is you're not that bad. And that's high praise. It says so much.
I'm just trying to figure out from a technological standpoint how the charts would wind up that way. And I guess the symbols are images, not glyphs.
There you go. My other option, the other thing that happens with charts is the charts don't invert at all. So they don't invert from a white background to a black background. So then I have this day glow white chart that I can't read because it's too bright. So I cannot make out the symbols on the chart because it feels like I've had half a bottle of tequila and chased the worm. Like there's no focus. It's just blurred right out.
That's not useful.
I'm like, cool. It's gonna help so much. Sometimes the charts flip time, sometimes they don't. Sometimes because my font is yellow, I'll get the yellow font, but the yellow font will be significantly larger so that it'll actually overlap over white photos, and then you lose all the font. Because that I was showing her things on screen shares so she could see some of the weird things I'm like, so it's like some things I am purely guessing because I simply cannot access the information. I hope it goes this way because I don't know.
No, that's just frustrating.
I mean, it's my life. I can't do much about to change it. I don't have that kind of power. So it's like I get mad. I kind of deal with it really. So it's gonna be interesting charting for things.
Yep.
That's my life. Oh, hopefully I should watch next week. I'll be like, hey Diana, I finished 2 sweaters and I didn't sleep. Not happening. You guys,
sure?
Not happening.
Sure?
I have 2 hat infinity scarf sets to make, plus a finish off a crochet throw for my sister, plus a baby sleeper sack, plus a 4-year-old sweater. I'm running out of time before Christmas.
I
What's
still
on my
expect to
plate?
see 2 finished sweaters next week.
Of course you do. You want to do my work for me? You're excellent at social media marketing. Just like...
I got plenty of my own work to do, thanks.
Oh, goodness. But that's it for me. That's enough in 1 week. Holy Hannah. I always feel like I haven't done enough.
You do like 200% more things than me on a regular basis. It's fine. I guess that brings us to wool gathering.
It does. That's all you. Well, mostly you.
Then I will talk about the usual Patreon. If you would like to and are able to financially support this podcast, you can do so by becoming a patron at patreon.com/some stuff that is linked in the show notes because it's long. It's linked in the show notes.
It is long.
It's also in the description box on YouTube if you don't want to go look at all the show notes. You can support us at different tiers. All the tiers will get you access to our Patreon-only Discord server and our weekly Experimental Tuesday cooking blog posts. And at the higher tiers, we do an e-Mitten each month on the second last Saturday at noon Manitoba time. We just had November's yesterday, which I guess will be a few days ago when this is up. But our next one, as I consult my notes, is on December the 19th. Will be our next Patreon e-Mitten, noon Central Standard Time, noon Manitoba time.
Noon Manitoba time. Why? Because it's just arbitrarily the best time for the most people.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit early for some, a little bit late for others, but generally works for most people.
I think so.
We try. It's hard. We've got west coast of North America through to Norway. Like, it's hard.
Yeah. There's a lot of time zones to consider.
There's a range.
Oh, goodness. Oh, my nose. All right. The other thing we have going on right now is the Finish-A-Thon. You guys, we're doing a last drive to finish off 2020 with as many finished items as possible. You could have started this project 28 years ago and be finishing it. You could have started this project right now while you're watching us. It doesn't matter. Anything counts. What have I been saying? Weaving in an end counts. Ball bands count. That's not even remotely proper English.
Ball bands.
Button bands. Don't know why I want to say balls instead of buttons, but there you go. Those count. Baby booties count. Sewing counts. Crochet counts. Cross stitch. You finished a thing, like not got it off the needles, but like a fully finished object. It counts. You can post it to Instagram and use the hashtag NKP Finish-A-Thon 2020. Hint, odds are good we'll do this again next year. You can email to us if you don't like using Instagram. If you're on Facebook, guys, we got a Facebook group. Come join the Facebook group. Post it in the Facebook group. We're going to start running galleries in December to celebrate everybody. So I will use your name. And if you give me the pattern, there will be a pattern for everybody. If not, I'm going to get a lot of comments and you're probably going to find me pestering you for the pattern name because somebody wants it. Don't make me the middleman. Just post your pattern name in there, please. If it's got no pattern because it's a self-creation, still counts. Just say you made it out of your head. I do it all the time. No worries. Because that's the 3: Instagram, the Facebook group, and then if you don't use either of those, but you do watch us on YouTube, send us an email. It's northernknits@gmail.com. They arrived there.
Podcast. There's a podcast in there.
Podcast in there.
All of this contact info is in the footer of the show notes each week.
She puts it down there because Diana's smart and understands we all like links and not having to think.
Thinking is hard.
I follow the links on our own show notes to things.
So do I.
God, I can't remember. Diana wrote it down. Go find out. don't. That's why we make them. Oh, goodness. So that's going on till the end of the year. Just because, why not? Let's celebrate some finished stuff. It is the time of year for it. If they're Christmas presents and you want to wait till like the week of Christmas to send me the information so the recipient doesn't even remotely see it, totally an option. The Facebook group is private. So only the people in the group see the posts. So it's only concerned if you're posting in there and the same person's in there. So it's like if I've got a gift for Diana and I don't want anybody else to know, I only post it in the Fiber Friends group because I know she's not there.
Until I sneak in one day when you're not watching.
You won't. You don't like Facebook that much.
This is true.
I feel safe doing this. Also, Louise would warn me because she's that kind of a human being. She's kind and caring.
Maybe I'll make a new Facebook account and sneak in.
You wouldn't do that.
No, I wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't do that.
It would cross my mind and be like, nah, that's
too
like
much work.
5 minutes too much work.
Or 5 minutes too much work. Yep, that sounds about right. So that's it. That's what we've got going on right now. Asa asked me on Saturday if I was going to do Vlogmas, and I said, yeah, sure, why not?
Okay.
So I'm going to do Vlogmas. I'm going to do it on the other channel, the same way as I did the October. It's not as daunting because it's not the whole month. It's
only 24 days, 25 days?
25 days. Listen, compared to 31, that seems super manageable. It's going to be the same sort of format because like you can't really go anywhere or do anything this year for obvious reasons. So I'm going to sort of do it like a sort of daily crafty check-in. So there'll be little vlog snippets and then mostly me sitting in front of my computer here talking to you guys about whatever it is I've crafted for the day. So I'll just do Christmassy themed crafts. It's really not that hard. I do them anyway. They're just not entirely all knitting or crocheting. I can tell you I get way out there and I have a hot glue gun, so anything could happen.
Oh dear.
And my mom's been on Pinterest.
Oh dear.
That's your warning.
Okay, so I expect to see things glued to your cat.
Not my cat. Me, yes. My cat wisely stays away from me when I'm gluing things. She's curious, not stupid.
It's good. It's good.
Hey, I'm for fun because I got that Dual Good app. I made DIY napkin rings out of old Christmas crafts because the challenge was to make us a like napkin ring only using old leftover Christmas craft supplies. So I used pipe cleaners, leftover wrapping paper, a wrapping paper roll, my glue, and an old tag set that I had from a couple of years ago where you can make fancy handmade tags. I had leftovers of that. So I used that to make napkin paper, like napkin tube holders.
Cute.
Did I enter it? No. I don't have what was it? I think it was like Pottery Barn was the person sponsoring this one. There's not really Pottery Barn's not a thing here.
No, that's not a Canadian thing.
That's not a Canadian thing, so I didn't worry about it. But I did make it because I liked the challenge. So I like looking up the challenges. So some of them I do, some of them I don't. Some of them I even enter. Never won. Don't care about the winning part. I just like the challenge because it's like, here's your theme, here's your list of items that you can use, and like go forth. You've got 7 days. I'm like, oh, just gets the creative juices flowing.
Row 49.
Yep, that's true. All right. I suppose that just leaves books, which is yet more me.
Afraid so. I've just been hardcore Critical Role almost halfway to that.
Hey, you made it to 2019.
Halfway is a moving goalpost when they're still posting an episode every week.
Well, they're not posting this week, so...
I'm at the halfway point that would have been the halfway point when I started back in the summer.
Yeah. So you're closing the gap.
Yeah, I just need a little bit longer and I'll be actually caught up. Mm-hmm. Well, actually halfway, and then maybe sometime next year actually caught up.
Hey, you have picked a great time to do catch up because this year they're not, or this week they won't be on because Thanksgiving is this week in the States. So they have their Turkey Day. Then they'll be on for like a week or two, and then it's like Christmas, and then they're off till the New Year. So it's because they take holidays too, as one should. So I'm like, so we got like maybe one or two, like, okay, two, maybe three episodes before we're done 2020 for the year. So as far as CR is considered anyway. So I'm like, you've got time. You'll make more episodes happen when you're on vacation from work. Oh, yeah. Because that's just how that happens.
I get a whole week off. I'm so excited.
I would be excited too. Vacations are fun. All right, I suppose I should talk books. Guys, I'm trying to make a toque in an hour and a half because it says it's an hour and a half toque, and it's super not an hour and a half toque for me. I might be getting distracted. I in the middle of Tome Tuple. This is one of my most beloved, favorite, long time running readathons that I participate in. I'm not super official. I don't do the sprints. I'm not that into it, but I love the challenge of reading as many books over 500 pages as possible. I tend to pick the really big ones. I don't pick like a 520 page tome. I pick a 57 plus hour Audible book. Which is well over 1,000 pages. That's the sort of stuff I pick because I've lost my mind. So last week I was reading The Waking Fire by Anthony Ryan, and I finished it. It was one that I had started previously that I did not finish. It's a slow burn. I think I even wrote in my review that I posted on Audible, and I gave it I think it was a middle of the road overall, so I gave it a middle of the road star because it was middle of the road overall. By the end of the book, I'm attached to those characters and I'm following through on the series because I need to know what happens next. Epic fantasy, right? So there's more than one book. But if you'd asked me halfway through the book, I would have been like, probably not. Lot of world building, which is necessary when you do something that epic fantasy. I find a lot of adult versions of epic fantasy sort of suffer from that. We need to give you all this information up front, and then we'll get you attached to the characters at the tail end of the book, which just doesn't really work that well for me. Yeah, I could do it, but it's boring.
It's not exactly engaging.
Not really so much. Now, I love ones where it's still an info dump, but it's from the character's perspective. So it's like they're recapping their childhood, or you've jumped in and they're explaining the letter and why they're running through the woods. Like you've got that combination of action and filler world building going on. That's better because you start to connect to the character a lot quicker. So you're like, okay, like I know you got to tell me about the political setup of the dudes at the party, even though you and I both know we just want to get to what happens to you at the party because like I need to know who these people are. So yeah. It's like, oh, that's so and so. They're the cousin to so and so, married to that lady over here. But they got the dog on YouTube. You like it's drawing those connections. It's just how they do it format wise. So if you can handle a slow burn at the start, absolutely. By the end of the book, completely riveted, super excited. I want to know what's going on. Characters are well developed. There's politics, there's plotting, there's subterfuge. It's got guns, it's got dragons. Yes.
Don't usually see guns and dragons.
On the board. You don't. And if you do, they're not always combined well. This is combined quite well. So like, okay, yes. Beautiful, love it. I'm gonna read the next one in the series. It'll probably derail my TBR for Tome Tuple. Not like I'll get through a fourth book anyway. So then I was like, okay, I need a palate cleanser. So what do I pick? SPQR by Mary Beard. Guys, it's a Roman text. Mary Beard is a preeminent Roman historian.
This does not sound like light reading.
It's not. It's not. If Consider the Fork is the one where I go, you want to be interested about history and stuff, listen or read Consider the Fork. I recommend listening because it's very well narrated. SPQR is sort of like the next step into it. So it's like, okay, not everyone's going to find it quite as interesting because there's a lot more sort of critical thinking moments. Like, so if this is what's going on and this is what, these historians are writing about, this is how we think about it now and how that changes over time. with facts and data. So you get the cool little tidbits and stuff. So, you get the mythos of Romulus and Remus, you get the building of Rome, you get all the fun, juicy bits like the death of Caesar, but she's a little more technical and a little more clinical in the descriptions for it. So I love it. This is my field of study. Like, that's what I went to university for. So super huge geek about it. I know it's not quite for everyone. So it's like, it's not on the list that I would recommend unless I knew somebody was also sort of into history a lot, because otherwise it can come off a little dry. Not that the narration's bad. It still gets 4 out of 5 stars because I thoroughly enjoy it. I have 45 minutes left. And then I'm going to move on to the next in the Stormlight Archive series, which is Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. Now, if you're a longtime listener or watcher, I'm going to sneeze. If you're a longtime listener or watcher, you will know that these are the 42, 44, 48 hours books that I have been reading this year. They're getting bigger. This one's 57 plus hours.
That's a lot. That's just a lot.
I'm never going to buy this book in hardcover. My hand will fall off.
Yeah, it's going to be like a 10-pound book.
Unless I need to carry it in the dark for self-protection. It's not same with the Priory of the Orange Tree. Like, I finally went and I looked at the hardcover of that last year. It's not a book. It's a freaking theft deterrent is what it is. Come at me. Wah. I've had textbooks less threatening. It's got to be huge. Anyway, I have it on Audible. It's fine. I'm going to listen to it, but it is likely going to consume my whole week because that is more than a full-time job. And while I can listen to books while I'm working, for the most part, not when I'm video editing or doing some other stuff, but if I'm knitting and pattern writing, or if I'm reading emails and stuff, I can reliably consume 2 sources of audio information at the same time. It's not something everybody can do, but I'm comfortable doing it. So I can do that. I can only do one visual thing at a time. It's like, I'm looking at you. I'm not working on anything. If I'm working on stuff, I'm not looking at you guys. But I can do 2 sources of audio information at the same time. So like, I can be listening to my book and reply to my sister if she asks a question, or give instructions to my niece, or answer the phone and talk to my mom for a while. Technically not, because they're on my phone, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I super cannot do that.
We can be standing in a convention center and I can keep track of what Diana's telling me, plus the conversation I'm having with like 2-3 other people, and keep track of where I am in the convention center, but I can only look at one thing at a time. That is how my brain works. Which is fine. It's fine. Everybody's brain works differently. That's just how mine works. So
I do music with lyrics.
I can do music with lyrics while emailing and still be coherent. You still can't spell. Cannot. But I couldn't spell anyway. So
the email will start to contain the song lyrics.
No. I have been texting with you, my mom, my sister, guys on Match, and listening to a book at the same time, and I don't have any problems flipping back and forth. I don't lose train of anything. I don't know, just what I do. So either way, I'm going to have to start plowing through that as best as possible. So I don't think I'm getting Sage, because I won't be finished my 4th book.
Well, you picked a beast.
I picked a big one. It was released. It has to be read. I've been waiting for this release all year. Okay, so I've been waiting for this release since I finished the last book, which has not been all year, but it feels like all year. Or since last year. When did I read the Stormlight Archive originally? I think I read the Stormlight Archive originally last year. So yeah, I think I've been waiting almost a year. It's hard to keep track. So that's going on. Thank heavens the Expanse series is not being released until next year. What would I do if I had both on my plate at the same time? Have a heck of a time deciding. All right. That's it for me and for books. I'm done.
Yeah, I think that is everything. I'm like, I should have picked a different herbal tea because this chamomile has put me right to sleep. I'm ready to go out.
Well, that's what it's supposed to do.
It's very effective. I'm sleepy.
Hey, listen, I was ready to record earlier today, but your husband was playing video games with his brother.
Yes, it was going to be a little challenging to record when they were talking about slaying demons like 2 feet that way.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, that's okay. You guys will have different offices soon.
Yep.
Because you'll be in your shiny new place.
Yeah.
Then it won't matter. We don't have to disturb the boys or have you up too late chatting with me about Mitten. No?
It's going to be glorious. I'm excited.
Very exciting.
January.
All right.
January.
In which case, until next week, I'll say I'm Jocelyn.
And I'm Diana.
And no matter where your week takes you,
don't forget
to knit. Oh, hey, we're live in December, guys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, December's creeping up real fast.
We have one more recording next week in November, and then we're into December. So I think it's like December the 6th is the first Sunday we'll be live.
I think so.
To double check the dates on that for everybody. But yeah, we're going to be live the whole month of December, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right. I have half a hat. Let's go.
I have almost half a shawl collar.
Oh, God. I got to knit so much sleeve.